Okay, good afternoon, members, and welcome to this remote meeting of the Civic Licensing Committee on Thursday, the 12th of August. Mrs. Anderson, are there any apologies for absence, please?
There's no apologies, convener.
Okay, agenda item number 2, members, is a request for a deputation. I believe we have an update on that. Mr. Thompson?
Yes, convener, thank you. It's just to say that we've been advised that Mr. Innes is not attending the committee. I would wish to communicate, though, that he has asked that the committee adjourn or postpone the consideration of the item in relation to the fees, and that further information has been requested from the council, further financial information, and that this has been processed as an FOI request. And as I say, I would ask that the committee take into account Mr. Innes's request when it considers the item in respect of fees.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Thompson. Okay, Mrs. Anderson, any declarations of interest?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I don't think any member. Oh, Councillor Moore.
Councillor Moore?
Thank you, convener. Yes, I have received representation on item 6, report 22821, the taxi and private hire licences. I have not expressed an opinion and I shall stay in the meeting and vote if necessary.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Moore. Anyone else? No. Okay. Members, the next agenda item is agenda item number 4, minutes of the previous meeting. We are asked to approve as a correct record the minute of meeting of this committee held on the 20th of May 2021. Do we agree?
Agree. Agreed.
Okay, thank you very much. And agenda item number 5 is the delegated approvals, and it's recommended that we note the licenses granted or renewed under delegated authority as detailed in the attached appendix. Do we agree to note these?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you very much. The next and final item, agenda item number 6, is taxi and private hire licenses. That's a report by the Director of Legal and Democratic Services. Are there any questions? No. Any comments, Councillor Whiteside?
I think Councillor Boyd is in the waiting room trying to get in.
Oh. Mrs. Anderson.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because he's not showing.
Fiona, convener, I've actually talked to Councillor Boyd. He sent an email in just seconds before that was intimated. So I've just sent that request to join, so hopefully that will allow him to attend the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Maley. We'll just give him a minute or two then.
There's Councillor Boyd.
There he is.
He's walked down to the hotel for his house.
Welcome back, Councillor Boyd. Sorry about that. Don't know what happened there. We've just gone through the first 5 items, which were obviously just the apologies, the declarations, etc., etc. So I've just announced agenda item number 6 and asked for any questions from members. Councillor Moore, your hands up.
It's actually a comment, convener.
Yes, that's okay. We'll just go straight to comments then, because there are no questions. There's nobody's hand up. Thank you.
Yes, we have this problem every year of doing the taxi license and private hire licensing, and we get issues every year. I would like to add a recommendation 5 that we create a member officer working group to review taxi and private hire licensing, the whole system including fees, looking at how the system works and whether there are ways in which the system could be streamlined to assist the officers and the trade. And I appreciate that with the loss of Mrs. Page and Mrs. Kimmett, there will be pressure on the departments, and this may have a delay in commencement of the group. But I think that, considering the problems we've had each year, that it is probably a good idea to review the system and see if we can't improve it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Moore. Councillor King?
Well, I think we should maybe hear from Mr. Lumsden, because there are legal matters that lie behind this, that the licensing boards are supposed to be self-sufficient and cover their costs. But if there's any move to set up a member officer group, I don't think it should be done at this time in this administration. It should be a priority for the new administration, because we would be just sitting in a situation where we might be making a recommendation immediately before an election. And I don't think that's the way to do it. I think the way to do it would be to put down a recommendation that the incoming administration in May next year would look at this.
Okay, Councillor King, before I ask speak, Councillor Fairweather? You're on mute.
Sorry, Chair. Listen to what Councillor Moore said and Councillor King. I'm agreeing with Councillor Moore. We have had before, and I remember I was on it, a review with a member officer group. I was on it with, you'll probably remember his name better than me. It was Jim from Brechin. I can't remember his name for the life of me, Councillor King. One of the SNP members.
Well, Mr. Houston.
That's it, Councillor Houston. And what Councillor King says, waiting for next year, right? This has been going on for a number of years, and we are continually getting asked the questions. We've had a rebate going back to taxi drivers, and I think really now is the time that we should be looking at that. So I'm agreeing with Councillor Moore that we should set up a member officer group, which hopefully will help the officers get this resolved and help the taxi drivers. Thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Kimmett, Mrs. Kimmett, how would we set this up? Would this be done out with the meeting, or would it be done now, or would it be an email sent out to get members for this?
I'll probably pass to David Thompson in relation to this particular report. I'm not entirely sure how that would be set up, but I'll pass over to David. He's got his hand up there. Okay,
thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, convener. Can I just clarify the member officer group, the purpose of which is to look at the whole sort of arrangements for taxing private hire vehicles, or just in relation to the fees?
Councillor Moore or Councillor Fairweather?
My proposal is that we look at the entire system to see how it can be streamlined, how it can help the officers and the trade, how we can bring more transparency to it. I appreciate that it's not going to be easy, and I would suggest that it be tabled as an item for the next board meeting.
You would set up a member officer group membership at the next meeting, Councillor Moore?
Yes, I would suggest that, looking at the political balance and suggesting possibly a 6-member or a 5-member group, whatever was most expedient.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, is that acceptable?
I have no difficulty with that, convener. I think Councillor Moore's highlighted a point about the political balance that I don't think we'll have a handle on right now. So I have no difficulty submitting a report about a proposed member officer group to the next meeting on the 16th of September.
Perfect, that's fine. Thank you, David. Councillor King?
Yes, that's exactly the point I was wanting to make. That if we go down the line of setting up a member officer group at the moment, it should be subject to the terms of report, spelling out the terms of reference and what areas have to be investigated and the membership, and that should be considered at the next meeting of the committee.
Okay, I think that's well and truly noted. Mr. Thompson, can I just ask another question? You mentioned, of course, about the cancelled deputation that wasn't going to go ahead. And did you say that before we consider this, or while we're considering this report, we could possibly defer this report until we hear from the deputation?
That's certainly an option that's available, Councillor Convener. Sorry, it would be open for the committee to determine the matter. It may wish to revisit the issue at a future point. But I did undertake to pass on the request for an adjournment or a postponement of this item.
Okay. Councillor King?
Yes, Convener. The item 3 is to agree to make no changes to the fees. So I don't think there's anything we need to hear from our deputation at the moment, because we're not proposing any changes. I mean, if Mr. Innes wants to come back to a future meeting and put a pitch for the taxi operators, he's perfectly free to do so, because that can feed into the member officer group then. I think we should take a decision today to freeze the fees as they are and just carry on.
Okay, I'm happy to move that then, Councillor King. Does the members agree that?
Agreed.
Great.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, have a nice afternoon.
Sorry, Convener, just so I'm clear, so recommendations 1 to 4 as per the report is agreed, with an additional recommendation that a report be brought forward setting up a member officer working group. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mrs. Anderson. That is correct. Okay, thank you all again for your attendance and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Bye.